Well, hi everyone, and welcome to another exciting edition of Adam's Music Box, where today I want to talk about the father of conscious music. Now, many call him the father of hip hop, and he may well have been. Whenever we're talking about someone who invented a genre, there's always going to be debates and arguments, but there's a very strong case that Mr. Gil Scott Heron was the man who invented hip hop, but without a shadow of a doubt, modern conscious music that talked about real things affecting real people and drawing in personal experiences and observations to give a sense of authenticity to those observations. That was Gil Scott Heron. He was the undisputed champion of that genre. He was someone who could rap, he was someone who could sing, and a wonderful singer he was. And his musical collaborations with jazz and soul pianist Brian Jackson, pictured there with him, were absolutely remarkably stunning. Some of the best music, not just of the 70s and 80s, but of all time. There are lots of people that tend to be talked about when we talk about politically charged music, protest music, music for a cause. But it was really Gil Scott Heron who stands above all of those others, in my opinion, because the things he had to say cut so deep and he expressed them both poetically but also with a sense of extreme urgency. Well, he's probably best known for the track The Revolution Will Not Be Televised from the late 60s, which talked about all of the political, cultural, and racial issues of the time. The albums that he did with Jackson in the mid 70s really stand out as brilliant. There's of course Winter in America from 74 that was released on Stanley Cowell's wonderful independent Strata East label. There's the album that I think is possibly the best album that Gil and Brian did together, which was Bridges from 77, Delta Man, Where I'm Coming From, one of the best tracks of all time. Secrets from the following year was great, as was 1980, released in I don't know what year. The collaboration between Jackson and Heron sort of ebbed out as the 80s went forward. They went their separate ways, but both continued to record absolutely brilliant music. So, for the people who think that conscious music began with modern hip hop in the late 80s, there was an antecedent. For people who think that the more folksy political music of, let's say, the Dylans and the Donovans of this world, if people think that's hardcore, it really isn't. Listen, and that's not any diss to them, but listen to Gil Scott Heron, because that was where it got hard. That was where it got real. And thanks to the marvelous musicianship of Brian Jackson, that's also where it got really musically sophisticated, beautiful, and really, really easy to listen to. So, unlike some of the spoken word stuff Heron did, the stuff he did with Jackson, it just draws you in. It's music you can cruise to, vibe with, but also think to, and think about all of the subjects that he's bringing up. He sadly died at the age of, oh, sorry, in the year 2011, and he was 62 at the time, which by the standards of 2011, I suppose, was quite young. Brian Jackson is, of course, very much still active, and just a year or two ago, he released some very fine new material, so I highly recommend that you check that out. But definitely check out their work together, The Conscience of Music, the birth of conscious music. Like, subscribe. We will see you next time. Take care.